Welcome to the Fly Fishing Insider Podcast, where each week we speak with brands, icons, innovators, and trailblazers within the fly fishing industry, exploring both the successes and failures they've encountered along the way to become who they are today. But first, if you have not yet subscribed to the podcast or joined our email list, please do so by going to the flyfisherinsiderpodcast.com, or you can also find us on Instagram at flyfisherinsiderpodcast. Now let's begin. Today's guest is Derek Rodell, the Chief Fly Officer of Reyr Gear. Derek created this brand through the need to solve a long-time problem within the fly fishing industry of packing up a collapsible fly rod while the fly line is still attached. Reyr Gear provides fly anglers with a lightweight, portable fly rod combining both a traditional rod style and function, as well as a Dunkera style as well. The brand is quickly gaining recognition within the fly fishing industry from fly anglers alike. Derek, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
I just want to jump right into this interview because you guys have such a cool product. Yeah, I can't wait to get started here. But before we do, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, I grew up in Northern California. Always enjoyed being outdoors, and my father handed me a fly rod that we found on the side of the road when I was 9 years old, and we started hitting rivers and developing this passion for the outdoors and also fly fishing and fishing in general. From then on, I went kind of into engineering and product development, and all that world has collided to bring me here.
And where is here exactly?
Here, I'm living in Oakland, California, is where we're running the business. But the business here is Reyr Gear, where we have a very different fly rod that we have brought to the market because of just a little bit of a lack of functionality and portability and everything that we saw in the market, and a way to really bring some innovation into the fly industry where we saw some gaps.
Cool. Can you tell us a bit about Reyr Gear and what the product is and what that functionality of your product is as well?
Yes, definitely. So Reyr Gear is a company where we have mainly one highlight product at the moment. It's a fully functioning fly rod that collapses like a Tenkara fly rod down to 17 inches. You can leave your fly tied on. And we came up with this rod after really wanting to hit as many fishing holes, streams, lakes, ponds, and puddles that we would see around us, whether we were driving to work or on a backpacking trip and didn't want to stop and set up and break down gear for 10 or 15 minutes. Just that opportunistic couple casts here and there, I really desired. And there was kind of a need when I thought Tenkara solved that problem. But quickly I realized I really wanted a reel to also offer a little bit more line adjustable capability and to fight a fish a little bit better.
Is there any other reasons what inspires you to create such a rod?
Yes, I actually broke a rod also kind of in the process of doing all that to think about a better way to store it. But I've been working in Silicon Valley in product development, and we're always thinking about why something hasn't been done before or what can change to make something better. And a lot of these people and ideators in Silicon Valley are always just thinking outside the box. So I brought that same mentality to fly fishing, which is pretty traditional, doesn't change that much over the years. Brought that in there to see what impact we could make and have some fun at the same time.
The name Reyr Gear, is there any meaning behind that, or what was your inspiration for coming up with that name?
Yeah, so we wanted to make unique and very different products. I kept thinking with the team, my engineer, and a couple other people that were helping us out, what's really going to make this stand out? And then we first kind of thought, oh, Rodell Rod Co. It rolls off the tongue, but it sounds like a traditional rod company that we would have from years ago. And we had a bit of a brainstorming idea of barbecue, throwing all kinds of names out there. The engineer that works for us is actually Icelandic, and this word rare means cane or pole in Icelandic.
Okay.
And it seemed to fit all the, check all the boxes. It kind of referenced a piece of gear that we're making. It also alluded to rare or uniqueness of the product.
Cool. I'm glad you didn't go with the Rodell Rod Co. It sounds like an infomercial. So
Yeah. It's amazing the push that people really like that one.
Yeah.
But I'm happy we're here. People don't know how to pronounce the name, but it's a talking point in itself to SEO is much easier.
Oh, no doubt,
So
for sure, I bet. Hey, you know what? I noticed in that conversation when you were telling me, you keep saying we. Is there more people involved in the team? And if so, who are they?
yeah, there are a couple people. They're involved in more minor roles. I am kind of the founder and owner, but I have engineer Alexei, who I met working in the day job of product development. I have my longtime friend Brian, who has been helping with marketing and photos along the way, and an invaluable expertise is pretty bad behind the camera and with marketing. And then we also have Mo, another good friend now, helping in distribution and warehousing. And everybody's, pulling a small piece. It's really nice that they're all involved. I guess no one is essentially full time, as this is a passion project. Everybody's trying to put together, so it's
Cool.
nice.
And how long has this passion project been going on for, Derek?
We've been selling rods since the end of June of 2018, and we've been working on the rod itself for about a year or so before that.
You know what? I want to shift to the rod itself. Describe to us and walk us through the whole process of how the rod works, how it breaks down. Do you put your own line on it? Do you put your own reel on it? Tell us listeners all about that.
Yeah, so our rod, we initially thought maybe, oh, we could sell it by itself, we could sell it as a combo, we could do all this. During the development of the rod, there were a couple things that we found that were much different than the rest of how fly rods work, in that we kind of needed to develop a package deal. The line is actually specific to the rod, and we actually worked with Scientific Anglers a lot on that line. So that's made by them, and there's a special texture on the line, much like if you looked at a golf ball or shark skin
Mhm.
closely, to help run down the inside of the rod as it touches much more surface area than the traditional fly rod with eyelets on the outside. And then we have a couple other tricks on the inside that led us to the rod that works as it does now. So we wanted to sell a combo that worked well and also provide a package that ships in the box, all set up minus the fly tied on to make it easy. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a beginner, this idea is a little bit different. So we didn't want people to goof around with feeding the line on the inside and doing that setup themselves. We wanted to provide something that's ready to go, just like it should be on the trail or under your car seat or something like this. And once it's set up, you never need to take the line out. So we thought we might as well ship it that way too.
So the line itself, it never wears out. Is there a specific reason why this line stays on there? So if I buy this rod setup, that's the same line I'm going to have on there for life, or does the line actually wear out?
I haven't seen that the line wears out. I have a couple rods in use, and we have a couple others in the field that have been in use for probably a year. We've only been selling them for 6 months at the moment. And those, I don't see any issues with the line happening right now. Although I am, and it's listed in my FAQ, I will sell replacement lines to current rod owners if they do need a new line or they cut it or something happens along the way. But I'm not seeing the line as kind of a failure point. And I'm also hoping, kind of selling this as a package to remove a lot of all the other gear considerations people have. Do I, go up a line weight to cast differently? Do I do all these different things to get the rod set up perfectly? With the goal of this rod is to help you hit the river or the lake or the beach, whatever is around you, and just to fish. And this, it's not going to be the $1,000
Mhm.
furthest casting rod in the world or the most sensitive thing. You're going to feel a microscopic minnow, but it's to get you out there fishing and having fun when time
Which
allows, is what it's
which is
for.
what we love, right? So I did want to ask about two other things about the line. One is it
Hmm.
one set line weight for this rod?
Yep, yeah, we have one line weight for this rod
And what
currently,
is that?
and it actually has a 7 weight line in it, and I would consider the rod a 6 weight. So we are already kind of upping the line weight one. Yeah, we looked around a lot. We tried to balance this. We ultimately did want a lighter weight rod to come out with. But in the design of the rod, the OD is actually bigger than a traditional rod because the line needs to travel down the center for this idea. Just having the OD bigger does make the rod stiffer. When we wanted to go down to the lower, 3, 4, 5 weights of a rod and get that nice softer action, the rod just wasn't strong enough. So we wanted to come out with a more reliable rod, and it has come out that way. a little bit stiffer, heavier action than initially
Mhm.
aimed for.
So Derek, as a young company, which you guys are, how was it working? Like, how did it go about working with scientific anglers? Like, did they take you serious, or were they willing to work with you? Was it a lot of pulling teeth to get on board with them for them to essentially design a fly line specifically for your business? Walk us through that.
I worked with them a little bit. I did a lot of research on my own and, other fly fishing buddies to come in and engineers at work, a chemist helped me. There was all these people that kind of were in on the theories of how to make this line and those things work for the rod. They definitely did help out. Yeah, they definitely did help out. I would say that the best part was the technical aspect. The slower part actually was the fabrication and production and administration, which was a little frustrating, but the team helping with the technical side was great.
Looking back now, I mean, you're a newer business, but looking back, what are some of the challenges that you have had in the past getting this product to market?
Oh, there have been many. I would just say that in coming out with new ideas, there's always resistance. So having this idea be so different and yet my name not be known, it's tough. It is tough to initially get people's attention. Yeah, so pushing in that and not thinking that I was just a crazy person was tough. And once you get past that, it's fine. The other tough aspect is that yes, my design is actually very different than anything else anyone has on the market. So we had a lot of hurdles to climb, like with the line and a couple other little secrets we have running on the inside of the rod to make it work well. So those took the majority of that 1 year to figure out.
Am I able to go out and replicate your product exactly, or is it patent as well as specifically to you guys? Could I essentially take that technology in your case and license that to another brand if they wanted to do that? Walk us through that.
Yeah, if the right person comes to ask me to buy that design, that would be amazing. The idea initially is to keep this and develop it ourselves. We do have a provisional patent in process. We're kind of chasing down that path, but it's all the fees are interesting, and I've kind of gone down the patent legal wormhole with some of my team here, and it's there's good and bads. If a small company like me even gets the patent, the problem is if a larger company or someone else goes to make that product, you still need to chase them
Mhm.
with lawyer fees. So it's a really tough spot for a small company. It's
I
something
hear
we
you.
worry about.
No, for sure. You know what? You say you're a small company. What are some of the things that as being a small company allows you guys to do quickly and efficiently?
Oh, we can change everything in 1 to 2 days, for example. And I'm learning that is like when I talk to a supplier or someone else helping us out, it's tougher to do. Like for example, on in dealing with scientific anglers, that's a big company. They have marketing, sales, and accounting team, all of that I need to get approved through and run through all those business parameters that take a long time. We can totally change our marketing message and everything we speak to, or even, come out with a new product in a day if we so desire. So
Also, as a small company, what are you guys doing to grab a piece of market share within this industry as well? I know it's a hard industry to break into, but once you're in, you're sort of in.
yeah, marketing is so much tougher than I would have imagined out there. There's so many things in the market, so many media channels to try to access people. But we really just want a small chunk of the market. There's Tenkara we've been watching for a long time, for the last 5 years. There's a grouping of Tenkara companies that are really making headway and making progress, and we just hope to follow in their footsteps and be a small company that can sustain ourselves and make something cool out in the market. We're not aiming to be millionaires or anything
No,
like that.
definitely. I mean, it's a for sure niche product. Is there any competition out there for you guys?
I would say the competition is the knowledge and the things in people's minds already from Tenkara versus traditional rods, and just their mindset to gravitate towards those. There's no specific product exactly like ours. There's no other even traditional telescoping fly rod on the market. Yeah, we're very different.
Definitely, I do agree with that. So having said that, you are different. Do you know who your user is? Who your ideal customer is, for instance?
Yeah, we grapple with that a little bit. I would say we have two ideal customers, but they're very different. The ideal customer number one is the gear dork, the rod dork, the fly fishing guy or gal who has a handful of rods already. Maybe they have 5 different rods, and this fills the gap in their quiver, and they'll have it under the seat of their car or in their desk at work to go escape for a cast. Or it's the more casual fisherman that is playing with the idea of getting into it. They just like the idea of backpacking with a rod, or they like the idea of that occasional time that, hey, one day I might take a cast, so it'd be nice if this
Hmm.
thing was ready. So it's very different. That's what we see right now, and we're trying to develop that further. But it kind of 2 different messages that's tough to
How is the
grapple with.
industry taken to your product?
A lot of questions initially. People are doubting some of how it works and everything, which I totally understand. It's very different. I'm trying to get as many reviews out there as possible and other people to use it and have comments on it. But I just hope that people grasp onto it. I get a few more people to speak up out in the world that say either they like it or they don't.
So then what other challenges are you facing with getting your product in front of the fly fishing industry as a whole?
Just the reach. We got to figure out the budget of marketing for ads and or the right way to send samples out and everything to get the best benefit for our dollar. Working on some plans now to do that. Initially, I thought about, the envision was in my mind at least that, some of the other guys are telling me is not right, is that, oh, this is all going to be organic just on our website. We're going to be able to sell everything yet and retain all the margin, which is very desirable to do. But as soon as if you do go to a retailer, they take a huge chunk of your margin, but the reach and their customer audience is huge. So we're now looking into that idea of looking at retailers, online retailers at least, to try to get a handle on their customer market to get in front of those
So when you say
customers.
online, are you opposed to bricks and mortar, or are you looking at going the bricks and mortar route as well?
Yeah, looked at going the brick and mortar route as well. The difficult thing for a small company such as us is that everybody also doesn't know who we are and they don't know if they can sell the rod. They want all the equipment on consignment and maybe 1 to 3 rods. We do have it in one store in San Rafael, California. Those guys are awesome. It's a combination
Hmm.
outdoor fly shop and everything. And the difficulty is in with that is that the rod is different. The gentleman running the store actually forgot a few times kind of the specifics on the rod and how to demonstrate even opening the rod. So that's effort, and also then training the sales force. It seems like a very large mountain to climb.
Is there, when you say how to open the rod, is there a trick to open the rod? Like how to operate? Sorry, just to
It's just
confirm here. When you say to operate the rod, is there a
mhm.
trick how to operate the rod or use the rod? Is it different than you would do in a traditional method?
Yeah. So a traditional rod comes out in, let's say, 4 to 6 pieces, and
Hmm.
you snap them all together. This rod, it opens like a tenkara rod. And there's just a sequence to follow to open it up. You open, and we have a video and also a pamphlet that comes with the rod to explain it. There's just a little sequence that you follow, and it's very intuitive for the people that have designed it and everything. But we also did a bunch of tests by just handing it to people and seeing how they open the rod, and found that we do need this little pamphlet to go with it, along with a video is
Hmm.
ultimately the most helpful. But after someone opens it once or twice, it
I
becomes
like
second
it.
nature.
No, for sure. Derek, do you guys have any pro staff or product ambassadors currently right now?
Yeah, we do have a handful of ambassadors out there, mostly on Instagram. Yeah,
And their role is just to promote the brand, or are they working with you guys exclusively to expand the brand? Walk me through that.
it's been fairly casual with them so far. The main goal is to have them use the rod, also give us feedback on the rod, along with promote pictures and share to their audience, stories about how they use it differently than a
Hmm.
traditional fly rod. It has gone, good and bad. We initially took it too casual, I would say. And there are some rods out there that I would say are not really working for us, and they're not getting the presence of use, feedback, or even pictures and presentation to their audience. As we were initially excited that these people with a large book of followers reached out to us in, desiring a piece of our product and saying that they were going to be an ambassador and promote it. We just took their word for it. So I would caution other companies and businesses trying to do that, yeah, everybody wants gear for free or cheap, but I would make sure to set up what the return on investment is for you if you're going to give them a piece of your
Absolutely.
prized inventory.
So, you know what? You guys are a young company, but I want to know what are your goals going forward? What is Rare Gear's goals going forward in the future? Sky's the limit. What's your goals?
We definitely want to keep doing similar things that we're doing now, disrupting the current design or the current style of product that is out there and rethinking how people enjoy the outdoors. One of these things is building products that we enjoy in the outdoors with the environment in mind. We're doing a lot of research working with a composite that, instead of based in carbon, is actually based in renewable plants, which is pretty great. It looks good. It's been very tough to make our prototypes and rods with so far, so we don't have a product yet. But it's really awesome, and it really hits my heart because we stand in these beautiful trout rivers, right, in this environment that we want to protect. So the equipment we use should hopefully have a
I
not
love
be
that. I
degrading
love that
that.
you guys are looking at plant-based alternatives to further grow your rod company as an option. I mean, I do hope that works out for you. It's kind of like when Costa did the recycled nets for their sunglasses. I mean, it was definitely it's a home run, right? And it just
Mm-hmm.
shows the conservation side of
Yep.
your business for sure. Absolutely. So I was also wondering if you guys are going to get into like custom colors or custom rod handles, any of that sort of stuff as well on the rods in the future as well. So is there anything like that in sight?
Yes, we definitely do want to do that. With part of the goal, we need to get a little bit more volume moving at the moment, but definitely the goal is to have a wider array of colors and custom options. We can do that. We've had a couple people reach out, and we got a couple ideas of really cool things to do on the handle that we just haven't had the money and spare
No,
time
I
to
hear you.
execute yet at the
Derek, you
moment.
seem like a great leader of this business. Where do you get your inspiration from?
Oh, well, my father started his own business when we were young, and I've always desired to do the same myself, along with, honestly, Boy Scouts has taught me an outrageous amount of things that people just wouldn't even realize. From between the ages of 14 and 18, I, with a group of other kids, were, thrown in the woods to figure out a lot of things, figure out how to cook dinner, how to stay dry, all these things without parental support, and our troop was set up really well. And I became a leader in the troop, and we did all kinds of great things to put us in problem solving situations with people from different backgrounds, older and younger than you. It was really great. And honestly, I attribute it to a lot of business and personal success.
You know what? The Fly Fishing Insider podcast definitely wants to help you out. And if there's any listeners out there or magazines or reviewers that product testers, if they wanted to get a hold of you to test your product and give an honest review of your product, would they be able to do that?
Yeah, they would. Like I said, I just would like to make sure there's a return on investment, or at least, everyone's being altruistic in that mind of giving reviews and being part of the community to build all that. But they can reach out to me, send me an email at derek@reyregear.com.
Definitely. I'll make sure I put that in the show notes for sure. Derek, I always ask my guests this one question, and what would you change within the fly fishing industry? What would your one thing be?
Oh, I think I did say it earlier. Is the environmental thought? It's actually pretty shocking to me that there's not a bigger environmental message in the actual gear that is produced.
So the environmental aspect is that one thing that you would change? Perfect,
Uh,
perfect.
yeah, that
It's
would be it.
definitely in need of a change. I agree. So, Derek, we're at that part in the show where we have our frequently asked questions from our listeners. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you a few questions. Our listeners definitely want to know how many days a year do you fish?
Ooh, it's tough. It goes up and down. I would say after starting the business, I probably fish 3 to 10 times a month, which is great. And prior to starting the business, it was probably once or twice a month. So it's been a nice,
So it's
fun
actually
recreational
gone up for
change.
you. I found since we started the
Yeah.
business, it's gone down for us. So,
Well, yeah, I just got to talk it up to product
oh,
testing. You got to go keep
I
doing
love it. I
product
love it
testing out
for
there in the
sure.
world.
Derek, if you had just one fly in your fly box, what would that be?
Ooh, man, that is a tough battle between the prince nymph and the woolly bugger.
Hmm.
Two amazing flies. Man,
I
yep,
hear you. No, for
that
sure.
would be the battle.
Derek, what's your favorite water to fish?
Oh, any river in the mountains, I guess, is the most desirable. I have a lot of thoughts about always fishing the Sacramento River with my father as a child to get me into this, and that's kind of, if someone says fly fishing, that's kind of where my mind
Awesome.
steps
Derek,
back to.
before I let you go, do you have anything for our listeners today?
Yeah, anyone that is interested in the product and all these crazy new ideas that we have, we did want to offer out a discount to everybody, and it's POD20 for 20% off, POD20. Enter that coupon code in to get 20% off and try to understand more about this rod and idea actually out in the field would be great.
Derek, I want to thank you for coming to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's fun to be on.
I want to thank my guests today and you guys, of course. If you're interested in learning more about our guests, please see our show notes and contact info for links, promo codes, and more.